Thank you, Mr. Speaker. In opposition.
Opposition, please proceed.
I want to thank my colleagues for their comments and permission to answer the comments of my colleague from Kailua as if they were my own.
Absolutely.
And
So
thank
ordered.
her for her work as well. She's been diligent about this, as well as contacting the Attorney General's office, making sure that we're speaking to the legal points of the issue. I'd also like to submit the comments of the representative from Wahiawa as if they were my own.
So ordered.
And I will disclose that I'm not a lawyer, and so it takes me sometimes 3 times longer to understand some of these things. But I think from reading the bill and doing some research on it, I'll just share a snippet of what the representative from Puna was covering. The Ninth Circuit Court upheld a California version of this bill, but the plaintiffs have applied for the Supreme Court for review. The firm handling the case is expecting an answer by April 20th. That's in a couple weeks. So in a couple weeks, they'll determine whether or not their case will be heard at the Supreme Court level. So a couple circuits, were brought up as far as this exact bill being introduced in different places. And I would say that in regards to compelled speech in commercial areas, it says, there are Supreme Court holdings stating that when professional services are provided at no charge, there must be a compelling state interest in order to limit the freedoms guaranteed under the First Amendment. And that's kind of what my 2 colleagues were alluding to as far as compelled speech in commercial environments, because there needs to be a compelling interest in the state to do that. And so the reason I bring that up is because when we first heard the bill in health, what I heard the testifiers saying was that we want people to know what services are offered at these limited pregnancy centers. We don't know, people don't know, we need to disclose that. So it went from we need everyone to clarify what they're offering to now, okay, now everybody needs to clarify it. So currently the bill says that it includes limited service pregnancy centers and all entities that solicit clients and provide pregnancy-related services. And that's where my colleague from Wahiawa was bringing up community health centers. He was bringing up physicians, because now it's anybody who solicits clients and provides pregnancy-related services. And so I would also I guess, emphasize the fact that in the other states where this bill was similar, that the penalties and the proportionate amount, I guess, for not putting a notice on this up were not in those bills, but yeah, ours does have that. I think the first penalty was like $500 for not putting it up. The reason why I bring that up is because it's adding a burden to physicians and other places where they already have a lot of administrative burden. So I just think maybe taking a step back and looking at whether or not this is good public policy for all would behoove all of us to kind of look into this and see what problem are we trying to solve. What is the problem? Is it that we need everyone to know that these services are available? Then I would agree with my colleague from Wahiawa. Then let's pursue multiple means of getting that word out through multiple channels, whether it's commercials, whether it's advertisements in state buildings. But if the problem is that we need people to know what's offered there, then okay, maybe they should give out handouts of what they offer. So I'm going back to the root of it, because we create laws that are supposed to solve problems. And so I think that if there was this outstanding problem that we're solving and this is the key to it, then I would be in favor of it. But all the extra parts that are involved in it, now that it's kind of changed a lot through each committee, are what give me reserve in opposition to this bill. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Any further discussion? Representative McDermott.
Mr. Speaker, in opposition.
Opposition, please proceed.
I want to thank the Judiciary Chair for making substantial changes to the measure. But ultimately, what was the point of this whole thing? Where did it come from? Why is it even before us? It's before us because there are 7 Christian centers that offer alternatives to abortion. They don't believe in abortion. So if a woman comes in there, they're encouraging, they offer alternatives, but they don't do abortions. And that's what this is about. In the Judiciary Committee, we had about 30 testifiers against this from the various organizations. It's a ministry for these folks. It's a matter of religious freedom. There were 2 testifiers in support, 2, and they both had an economic interest in it. One was the Planned Parenthood lobbyist, and the other was an abortion doctor. They both make money off of abortions. Where these people of faith came down, took time off of work, spent 3 or 4 hours sitting there trying to plead their case in a democracy, and we turned our back on them. 30-2 was embarrassing, and we still passed it. And I am told, I wasn't at the other hearings, but it was similar throughout the other hearings. Why would we do that? This is very disheartening for me. This is my 11th year here. I've seen us do this time and time again. Overwhelming number of people say we don't want something, and we turn our backs on them and still do it anyway because we think we know better. So who is pushing this? Where did it come from? What part of the community, this outflow of community support, said, we need this. We want these notices on these pregnancy centers? Where's it from? It's from Planned Parenthood. For God forbid, if we miss out on one child being able to abort that one child who makes its way to the pregnancy center and the girl is talked out of having an abortion, Planned Parenthood loses money. And that's what this is about. It's about money. Thank you.
Thank you very much.